If I eat meat, does that mean I'm a bad Buddhist or a bad practitioner? And what about monastics? Are they wrong if they eat meat? Let's clarify this with wisdom, not guilt. First, Buddhism is not a religion of blind rules. It is a path of awareness and non-harming. The Buddha always emphasized intention as the heart of karma. Food is not about purity culture, it's about ethics, compassion, and practicality. Historically, in the Buddha's time, monks and nuns did not cook. They survived on alms around. Whatever was placed in their bowl, they accepted with gratitude. They did not request things they enjoy or want, and they did not refuse items, whatever was already offered. The Buddha allowed meat under one condition called the threefold purity. A monastic may eat meat only if they did not see the animal being killed for them, they did not hear it was killed for them, they do not suspect it was killed specifically for them. This appears in the Jivaka Sutta. Why this rule? Because the precept is non-killing, not enforcing dietary restrictions for identity or performance of holiness. The Buddha discouraged the attachment to food rules that create ego or superiority. Another rule of the alms around that I found fascinating was that monastics didn't skip certain houses or move around to get what they wanted or needed. They humbly and patiently went door to door in order. So, should Buddhists be vegetarian or vegan? The Buddha never commanded all Buddhists to be vegetarian, but he did emphasize compassion and reducing harm to other beings, including nature. He also repeatedly said in the Dhammapada and many suttas that harming animals generates unwholesome karma rooted in cruelty and delusion. So what do we do with this today? Context matters from ancient to modern times, right? The food system today is very different from 2600 years ago. Monastics back then didn't have supermarkets, factory farms, or industrial agriculture, mass production. They lived in a society of small farming and occasional hunting. They had no control over what they were offered. Today, we have choice and access. And with the choice comes responsibility. Even if monastics accept what is offered, lay practitioners can practice mindful, compassionate consumption because we live in a system where demand directly influences supply and harm. Buddhism adapts to its environment. Theravada, like Thailand, in Sri Lanka or Myanmar, monastics often eat meat if offered, emphasis on alms and no preference. Mahayana, like in East Asia, China, Korea, or Vietnam, strong cultural tradition of vegetarian monasticism. Also avoid pungent food like garlics for the mental clarity. Tibetan Buddhism, high altitude climate, vegetarianism, historically not possible. Modern shift toward reducing meat. So if a monastic eats meat, it doesn't mean they are less pure. If a layperson chooses vegetarian or vegan, it doesn't make them more holy. The real Buddhist practice is my eating rooted in mindfulness and compassion, or in craving and ignorance? For some practitioners, reducing meat becomes a natural expression of compassion. For others, gradual change is more sustainable. The Buddha warned against identity-based purity, becoming proud of being the pure vegetarian while looking down on others. That ego is more harmful than the food itself. So here's a balanced modern approach. Non-harm first, reduce unnecessary suffering where you can, mindfulness, eat with gratitude, awareness, and no waste. And no dogma. Food is not a measure of holiness, your mind is. Adaptation, culture, health, needs, environment, and practicality matter. If you eat meat, you're not a bad Buddhist. If you choose to avoid meat, do it with compassion, not superiority. The real question the Buddha would ask is not what do you eat, but what is the state of your mind while eating? Because liberation is not found on your plate, it's found in your awareness and in yourself.